Right. Yeah, I was just trying to remember what we're actually doing for a second then.
Yeah.
Howdy, everybody. What up, suckers?
What up?
Time for a party. Except it's not a party. It's a very serious conversation about computer video games. Joining me this evening, as most days, is JB Valentine, Nicholas Morrison, and Matt.
That's what that was surname.
Oh, that was it. Just Matt like shit.
So, howdy, everybody. Yeah, it's a week until E3 kicks off. It's next Sunday is the beginning of all of that jazz.
Wow.
So I thought we'd have a bit of an informal chat about it because it's a little bit of a different formula this year. Sony isn't going to be doing a big show on stage. I'm not sure what they will be doing, but I thought, yeah, we'll just maybe have a chat about how we think things are going to pan out, and if anyone has any predictions they want to check out there, as we do so, feel free.
Sure.
So it's starting off on, I think it's like 5:30 our time in the evening, with EA Play thing. But that's, I don't know if anyone has any like EA particular predictions they wanted to make, but all I see is them trying to draw attention as much away from like loot box shit as possible by going like an Anthem, by just being like, hey, look at this Star Wars game we're making now that is the actual one you want.
Which is weird because isn't this the one that we heard got cancelled?
No, different project.
There was an RPG Star Wars game.
Yeah. That was being done by Amy Hennig at Visceral, and then they closed Visceral. Like literally,
like 3 months ago?
Oh no, years, mate.
Was it years? Oh right, yeah. No, okay. So recently, I read an interview with her that was conducted recently.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Would you reckon there'll be a BioWare specific, like?
I really wonder if they're going to address the BioWare thing at all. Like, it depends whether or not they think they want BioWare to stick around. Because if they don't, they're going to probably just not mention Anthem at all, and have like really try and keep the conversation away from that stuff.
I have to say, if I was in that position, I wouldn't want to go out there and go, hey, we've got Anthem DLC to have like the whole just go.
They've really screwed up the roadmap. Like the roadmap that they laid out saying this is what you're going to have, none of it has come to fruition, which is why now people are getting refunds on Amazon for fraudulent advertising.
Yes.
And Amazon are like, yeah, we don't want to touch this. That's fine. You can have your money back.
So like the only thing, there's one of two things I could see happening in relation to BioWare. If anything at all, although I would be surprised, to be honest. I really think they'll want to keep Sturm. But it'll either be, here is like, here's like a name and a logo type thing for Dragon Age, because that's what the BioWare fans said they actually want.
Yeah.
But I think that's less likely to me. The other thing is I could see them, if they were going this way, coming out and going, we know Anthem didn't go how we wanted it to, so we're completely redoing it. And if you bought it from us, you're entitled to jump in on the next one, maybe.
I don't think they'll do that in the slightest.
I really don't think so, but it depends how badly they want to own a massive
Huge.
online multiplayer thing.
They've already got I know they didn't have a hand in it, but they've already got Apex Legends, which is,
That is true.
by all accounts, doing well. So they may just go, look, we've won with this hand, maybe we'll just shove this one under the carpet.
Maybe they do. I can totally see that being the more likely thing. And then in which case maybe they just go, hey, look at all of the new stuff that's coming to Apex.
Yeah. I think that's quite likely. Like, look at all the free support you're getting. Yeah, look at all the free updates that are coming to Apex.
And also, don't forget sports, because there's always more sports.
Yeah.
You're going to see FIFA 20
sports.
or FIFA 21 or whatever. You're going to see the new NHL, NFL, NBA. They'll probably... NBA's doing really well, apparently.
The thing is, they do. They sell always, every year, and it's baffling. But
there are those audiences that only buy a sports game and that is their life, and that's fine.
I know one of those. He literally buys FIFA and that is all he plays. And I'm like, you've spent this much money on a console to play a game that doesn't really develop any year on year, and you're still going to go out and spend that money on that one game.
Except that those people don't watch E3, so I don't know why they spend so much time and money getting sport,
Look at all these
huge sports players to come and do. Let's do an interview with Magic Johnson on stage for 45 minutes.
And what sport does Magic Johnson play, Robin?
He plays one of the ball games.
Correct. 10 points to Robin.
You score the ball.
I was about to say, not anymore.
No, not anymore, because he's magical. He's beyond that now.
He's now a wizard.
He just wins all the time.
Yeah. Now he runs a magical college of some sort.
I couldn't tell you the last EA E3 presentation I probably sat through, because I've just had no interest for at least the past 5-6 years.
At best, it's something to have on in the background these days.
EA game I actually played was Titanfall 2.
Which is apparently great.
Which is great. It is, yeah. Yeah, storyline's brilliant. Single player.
So support Apex Legends, everyone.
Yeah.
Hashtag fuck Fortnite.
Please don't get rid of BioWare.
I don't know. I don't think BioWare as we want it exists. I don't know.
Oh, I'm living in a dreamland where I want a decent Mass Effect trilogy made, and it's never going to happen after Andromeda.
Well, I want a stripper wife with giant fake tits, but we can't all have the things we want, Matt.
I know.
Why do you want them to be fake?
Yeah, why can't
because it was the most unrealistic thing I could think of in the moment. So compared to BioWare,
you can buy fake tits. It's big real tits that are unrealistic.
It depends.
But fake by their exact nature are unreal.
No, but they are real because they physically exist. If you want really fake tits, you need imaginary ones.
Ooh.
Or a man with plastic ones.
I mean, these all sound way better options than whatever EA is going to sell to me. So I'll take it.
Well, all right. So I feel like EA has run its course there. Let's move on. We've got Microsoft is the one that's coming up after that. It's going to be 9 p.m. UK time.
I will be there.
Yeah.
I sadly
not physically there.
Won't be able to watch it live, but I'll be doing it later in the night. I've got things to be doing in the world. It's not very useful. But anyway, Microsoft stuff. This feels like it could be a big one for Microsoft this year, and not just because of the fact that Sony aren't doing a live stage show, so it's kind of theirs to lose in that arena.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
But also, it seems like now is probably the time where they might announce their new system for next year. Does anyone have thoughts on that?
I do.
possible game prediction, but I don't really know much about the new system coming up. Isn't it called like Project? It's got a name. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, so it's the thing all is called like Project Scarlet, rather there's actually going to be two versions of the console. One of them supposedly is the much more affordable slimline version that is built primarily for streaming games. So it is designed to be like super affordable for that reason. So there's not actually much like computing power going on in the machine itself, as far as I can tell. The other one is codenamed Anaconda, and this is like the equivalent of the Xbox One X, essentially, but from the beginning of the generation. So it's a bit more of a beast. It's going to be a little bit more costly than consoles typically have been, because it seems like they're priming the streaming model to be the more casual one. Whether or not, I mean, I've got a lot of questions about whether or not game streaming is actually going to work.
Yeah,
I don't like the idea of it personally. I'm a bit like, I like to have a disc.
You can't prove to me that you'll ever get on top of latency.
No.
Yeah.
Frankly, it doesn't matter if you say that the streaming power will be so good if my internet sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. And frankly, a lot of the world has crappy internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not his career in Japan, so.
Well, I have quite a controversial opinion potentially on this whole console thing. It's my only note that I can tie to Microsoft, because I've got a couple of notes on Nintendo and a third party. I love using this hashtag at the minute, but just adding a different word to the end of it. Hashtag fuck new consoles. I'm not ready for the next generation. I've still got to explore so much more of what we've got.
I agree with you.
Like when they've all come out, and obviously the Switch is still pretty in its infancy, but the next Xbox One, 2, or the PS5, I'm glad PlayStation aren't there if they were just going to do half their presentation on the next console. And I'll be really disappointed if Microsoft spend most of it talking about their next console, because I still feel in this current stage, there's so much more to give. And they're either the technology that's around us in terms of internet quality for dedicated streaming, or like even TV quality for 4K and stuff. I'm not even getting the most out of what we currently have, and I don't have the systems around me to do so. So why would I want to upgrade to a probably 500 quid plus
more
machine? Now I'm not ready. There's still so much I want to play and do. If they start discontinuing, it hasn't been 7 years or 8 years like the last cycle, which I maybe took for granted. But
I mean, the last cycle I think outstayed its welcome. But then we did get, I was going to say stuff like The Last of Us, but really it's The Last of Us I'm thinking of. There are no other games that jump to mind. The Witcher, okay, all right, we'll take that. But yeah, a handful of games you could count on one hand that were really, really pushing that software, that hardware, further than we would have anticipated 5 years beforehand. It doesn't. I agree. It doesn't feel time to move on yet. But I think the reason that I'm anticipating Microsoft really giving it a push now is simply because of the fact I think they've spent the last few years apparently making a lot of deals and doing a lot of work for their next console, which seems to be a lot to do with working out what their audience actually wants. And getting a load of studios on board, and I think that's the reason we've heard so few new things from them first party wise in the last 2 years. It's in my mind it has to be because they're getting a whole bunch of their newly acquired studios, as well as their pre-existing ones, to really get to grips with this new tech and come out the door with like an impressive launch. And I wonder if they might intend to be doing something similar to Nintendo did with the Switch, possibly launching the system like early next year. So that it gives it, plenty of time to work up towards the holidays and things.
Well, and to eat into Sony's like any kind of advantage that Sony thinks it's going to have.
Yes,
by getting out ahead of it and it is that thing hopefully they've learned from the last generation when they launched with Sunset Overdrive was that?
No, it was because I got the Xbox One on launch, and I think that maybe burnt me from doing that again.
Exactly,
and that was Rise, and it would have been Watch Dogs if they hadn't delayed it.
It was a poor launch.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag,
and Black Flag was the last generation. So
to be fair, the PS4 didn't have a strong launch either.
True,
but
it was $100 cheaper.
But yeah, it was cheaper.
Shots fired.
I would say like it didn't take too long for the PS4 to get something like really essential, which was Bloodborne, which came like the following January or February or something like that. But yeah, they were both weekends. The Xbox's was particularly kind of limp. But so yeah, I
after it.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was totally, like a big part of their plan, especially as they get to learn from how well it seemed to work for Nintendo recently. And if this is the year that they just go, even if it is kind of like what Sony did in 2016 or whatever, where they were just like, oh, hey, here's all videos for like Final Fantasy 7 remake that won't be out for 5 years. Here's like Shenmue 3. Might not ever come out. We don't know what that is. But like they could do that this year and get people excited for this system that's coming out before Sony gets a chance to have another press conference. Unless I mean, I'm sure they will be doing.
They'll have to do something because the opportunity's there for them to take it.
And timing wise, it feels like it's been enough time for these studios that they've been acquiring to have something to produce and something to show. So it really feels like that. I don't know if this is realistic versus what I feel like they should be trying to do this E3, which is just show us what you've got and get us excited.
Show me what you've got.
Show me what you got.
I think game prediction from Microsoft. I will see Fable 4.
Wow.
Because at this point, it's kind of unofficially official. There's been so many hard leaks. It's unbelievable. They've basically announced it already.
Wow.
I think we could see, and as you say, if they are going to do next gen already, it could even be a next gen game, and it could be a next gen launch.
Because it's still a Microsoft Xbox franchise.
It is still a Microsoft IP. That's why they closed Lionhead Studios down rather than let them go, because they wanted to keep the IP. And so there's a good possibility they could go, this is our next thing, and this is what's going to go on it. And they're going to go, Fable 4, what you actually want, not the weird Fable thing that fell through the floor.
The Peter Molyneux experience.
Milo too. All right, I like that prediction a lot. I'm behind that, but I'm going to press you on it. What do you think we're actually going to see from Fable 4? What do you expect?
I think it could be a continuation from Fable 3, or you could be like a successor from the character from Fable 3. You could be like one of his heirs. And
sorry, I meant in terms of like what they're going to show, like as in, is it going to be
just a trailer, same as like an Elder Scrolls 6 situation?
Right. Yeah.
Here's a title. Here's a flyover of the area
of Albion.
Actually, of Albion, that we already know because we played it through.
Here's Zoe Wanamaker doing a voiceover, and then
and then the title comes up,
and the crowd scream and go, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Albion Castle, similar to like the Disney logo, a cannonball fires over the top, and then it comes up saying Fable 4.
You think it's going to be 4? You think they're going to call it Fable 4?
I'd like to think
that's a really good question.
Fable Fortnite. A Fable Fortnite.
A Battle Royale.
Fable 4 Battle Royale. So I think Fable 4 would be really strong because I think the people that want Fable 4 are like the people that want a new Fable are the people that want a Fable 4. They don't want a reboot or something, or at least that's where I'm coming from. I want to see a Fable 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I do too. I feel like we're probably going to get some kind of a reboot. I mean, it's been such a long time.
Yeah.
Like you could consider just a straight sequel a reboot at this point, but especially with a whole new team doing it and everything. But I mean, in terms of like, I'm weighing up in my mind if it's going to be soft reboot or hard reboot in terms of. Do they call it Fable 4 and it's just kind of its own new thing, but it gets to be a continuation,
right?
Whether or not it fits into that timeline at the end, or do they go full hard reboot and it just be like this is a total like reimagining, or is it like
same universe, different story?
Yeah, I'm thinking what we're probably going to get is somewhere in between those two things, maybe set prior to Fable 1, like set earlier in the timeline, so that they've maybe got a little bit of leeway to invent more of their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair. It'd be interesting.
I see you, Fable, shaking that ass.
Yeah, I reckon we'll see something from Fable. I hope.
Do I think we'll see? I'm concerned we might just see a logo thing for that.
Yeah, like a Metroid type thing.
Yeah,
Gears 5 would it be?
Yeah,
that's quite strong.
I'm pretty sure that's.
I'm pretty sure it's happening. So there's a good chance we might see something of that as well.
They've got to do something with that to make me interested anymore. I'm not on board anymore. I'm like, what?
I didn't play 4. I missed 4.
No,
I played the weird spin-off. And that kind of lost me. I was like, I don't really not invested anymore.
Yeah.
Also, you've got Halo Infinite.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't think
that had a trailer already, so we may see gameplay from that.
Unless they're intending that to be like a launch game, I don't think we'll see anything.
Okay.
I feel like that's one of those ones which they just go like, this is happening, so we're going to keep it totally under wraps until we're ready to like blow your face off in their minds.
Fair.
In my minds, I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's
cool.
It's a Halo.
Yeah.
Oh, my face.
Halo.
Oh, look, it's MasterChef. I feel like that's one of two ways. Either they'll go big on Halo because they're planning to like make it a big thing for the new system, or we'll see nothing.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any like ideas of things like maybe older franchises, things that haven't been touched for a while that Microsoft could bring back? Because it feels to me like if they were going to do that, now is
absolutely
time.
Anything that was under the Rare IP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything
Banjo?
associated with that. Banjo Conkers, Perfect Dark, don't care. I just want something that was cool.
Who was Time Splitters?
Oh,
That was Free Radical.
That was Xbox.
they don't exist anymore.
No, who is it? Because I think it might be...
Someone owns the IP still.
Someone does. Is it THQ Nordic?
It's yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, I've got a feeling that might make an appearance.
I could see that.
You're throwing these accusations.
I like this.
Center.
I've got a lot. I've got a list. I have a list of things that I'm like potentials and that I think we might see, and they're all a bit
cool.
Yeah, you're right. In August 2018, they were acquired by THQ Nordic.
right.
Concerns me because THQ Nordic is a fucking weird company.
They're hit and miss. They are
It's
hit
weird.
And miss.
But that would be super interesting if they brought that back, because shooters have changed a lot since there was a last Time Splitters game. Like,
You know for a fact there would be a Time Splitters Battle Royale and it would suck.
It probably would.
I was hoping.
I mean,
if they,
I was hoping it didn't exist.
Fortnite wouldn't exist as it does now without like the original, at least the first 2 Time Splitters games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That kind of pace,
Yeah.
that was invented by Time Splitters.
Yeah.
I mean, if Time Splitters did come back and it was actually like way closer to those older games than you might expect, then I could see that like creating its own niche in the genre.
Yeah,
I can see that standing out a lot more than another battle royale.
Well, it's almost like fashion coming round, isn't it? Back and forth, like generation discovers something old and goes, "This is cool. We haven't seen this before," and you're like, "Bitch, please."
Well, it's like how so 90s style is now back in over 80s style. So what games from the 90s could be coming back a la early Time Splitters?
There's been like I don't want to derail this chat, but it just suddenly occurred to me and I want to say it before I forget. There's been like scant rumours about a new Splinter Cell, isn't there?
Yes. Oh, that's on my list. That is on my list. At the Ubisoft. Because it's been.
You think that will be Ubisoft, or you think that would stick with a Microsoft?
I could very much see both, because especially if they are doing like a big console push thing.
Yeah.
If you're trying to
it would be great for them to because like Sam Fisher was almost like an Xbox icon.
Yeah, he was. That was
a while, wasn't he?
Xbox early release. It was supposed to be the Metal Gear Solid killer, and then it kind of was.
Oh well. The Metal Gear Solid killer was Konami.
Hey!
Oh, shots fired! Come at me.
Even Kojima couldn't have written that twist.
And then Silent Hill.
And then they Silent Hilled all over themselves. Oh, but man, it still makes me sad. I was so excited about that.
Jesus, that's
anyway
the biggest. Carry on.
I have no idea what I was going to say. Silent Hill. Cell.
Splinter Cell. Sorry,
Splinter Hill. Silent
Cell.
Splitters.
You can absolutely imagine the Xbox people wanting to capitalize on that as like a kind of a legacy thing for their brand.
Yeah, definitely.
And I could see it being the kind of thing, because Ubisoft often do the thing where they have like, you know, like a flashy trailer for one of their games on somebody's stage, and then like a bit more of an in-depth.
Yeah, they show gameplay later on.
Gameplay thing, yeah. So that sounds like a really good shout.
Like if I was developing a new Splinter Cell, I'd be looking at, again, actually, and now that I say it, actually trying to topple the Metal Gear throne, because the last Metal Gear game went open world.
Mm-hmm.
It's stealth action, and if you put Sam Fisher in a similar kind of tank, I'd be into that.
Tanks aren't very sneaky, though. They probably won't go for that.
I'd quite like to see a Splinter Cell game similar to the Hitman games.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Targets.
So, I mean, you just said Hitman, so I said, yes, I like that.
Almost like an assassination in the upper echelons of the government, sort of, but more espionage than assassination.
Yeah, personally, I would be a lot more interested in that kind of a game, in a stealth game that's a lot closer to the lines of something like Hitman or Dishonored, where it's kind of it's not open world, but not small levels either. Like I've been playing a lot of Dishonored 2 recently, and the way they lay out their levels are like quite large and really like dense, like miniature sandboxes. I could see that kind of thing working really well for Splinter Cell.
Yeah, exactly. We're operating Sam Fisher in a urban environment. It's so much better than Solid Snake ever was when he got into kind of close proximity.
Yeah, the last Splinter Cell game hit like quite urban areas, but it wasn't.
Yeah, Blacklist.
It hit quite a nice. It was good. Don't get me wrong, but
I like that one.
Yeah, I like Blacklist, but it was. I don't know. There was just something about it. I was a bit like, I want to see this developed more now. This style of Splinter Cell, and they didn't. They just kind of stopped it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys remember before Splinter Cell Conviction came out. They they were talking a lot, and it went through quite a lot of changes during development. And originally, they developed this whole system where you could essentially they were kind of trying to channel Jason Bourne, because those films were big at that time.
Yeah,
it's good as well.
They're still good films. They're great. So they were going for the thing of like, right, it's all urban environments, you're hiding in plain sight kind of thing, and anything is a weapon. Like they were talking about this whole system they built about how you would be able to fight with any object you found in the environment. I'd love to see them like maybe have another look at that kind of thing, because it was clearly something they were excited about at the time.
Yeah.
The way I say like open world, I mean kind of to take like the map or a piece of the map from the Division, the first Division.
Yeah.
Have a dense collection of streets from one city, and Sam is in here infiltrating something, and and it's like every building can be entered, and every building has a basement, and all the basements are connected, and like if you honeycomb this small area, it still technically works on the open world like framework, but it's small and it's condensed and it fits to what makes Sam Fisher work so well.
Yeah,
that's what I'd be interested in.
It.
Honey,
make it happen.
City.
Anyway, I think we'll see Banjo-Kazooie. Oh, that's just me.
Good shout.
Yeah.
So, any other Microsoft things?
No, not for me.
I think so.
Because it felt like
and I'll burn you down. Sorry, no.
It felt like we transitioned quite naturally into Ubisoft stuff there. So let's continue with that. Is there any other Ubisoft stuff?
Assassin's Creed Vikings.
Yeah, we'll see something.
Either that or Watch Dogs 3.
3. No, I think we'll see an Assassin's Creed something. I doubt it'll be gameplay, and it might be, but I really hope they don't release this year. Because
do you think it'll be?
This year? I don't think they will.
They do so much better when they give it 2 years.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I can see them doing the thing of like, this is the premise reveal thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe just a cinematic trailer or a logo or whatever with like art that tells you what the setting is.
Yeah, confirmed. Is it?
Confirming that it's going to be Vikings or whatever. But yeah.
Whatever happened to the feudal Japan setting?
That was a thing. That was just fans.
No,
seeing as like Japanese samurais are very in at the minute.
Yeah, but it was done in Assassin's Creed, the mini stories that they did, the weird side.
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
those little side things.
Yeah, they did a feudal Japanese there, and I think I imagine those were put out as like little testers and to see where would work and how popular they were.
Yeah.
But I would love to see a feudal Japan Assassin's Creed. I think that would be amazing. As a ninja, that would be insane.
That's a lot more interesting to me than Viking stuff.
Yeah, Andy. I don't
like
think
for Assassin's Creed.
I don't think Vikings works as an Assassin's Creed.
It's a bit kind of confusing because the whole appeal of Vikings is like big burly warrior dudes.
Yeah, you don't need much equipment. You just need some good drugs and a big axe,
steel and wood, and you beat the crap out of everyone and rape and plunder. I mean, if they do a Vikings Assassin's Creed, it's going to have to be violent.
Press X to plunder.
Y to rape.
I wasn't going to go there.
All right, no, I'm back in.
You
that sounds all right.
You touch on
pressing Y.
Robin, you touch on an important point, actually, though, that Assassin's Creed games are very quickly kind of changing into something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah,
a lot
Odyssey
of people,
wasn't really.
Odyssey is weird.
Very different.
I got it recently, and I genuinely currently really prefer Origins. I think Origins is one of the best ones they've done.
I've not played Odyssey yet, but I say I've just completed Origins and I loved it. So I'm excited to play Odyssey, but I have heard that it's not.
It's got a really kind of different tone, and it doesn't feel.
Well, it's got that weird like Italian guy who's always jumping on shit in it. It's like wildly different from any other Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
But he's not typically an assassin, is he? Isn't he just like a warrior? He's a
plumber, I think. Originally a plumber.
And there was not great plumbing in ancient Greece, so what the hell?
Yeah, like it's totally. He didn't belong there. I don't know what they're doing.
No, right. In Odyssey, you have your choice of two characters, and they're brother and sister, so you can play as a lady, which is what I'm doing because it's more fun.
She looks cool too.
They're really lazy with that, though. Apparently, there's a DLC where
they fucked it up. Yeah,
or the fact that you're a woman, and the story just doesn't make sense. What a soft good.
Well, it's because they promised that you can romance certain people, and they promised that you can romance male or female, doesn't matter.
And then you end up with a baby from nowhere.
You have to have a baby at the end to pass on the fucking bloodline or some bullshit. And it
doesn't work like that.
To me, it just. I mean, aside from that, like digging themselves into a ridiculous political minefield, it also just. It speaks to me that when they created Silent Hill, Jesus, when they created Assassin's Creed, they really hadn't planned for this kind of level of we've got to constantly validate the stupid animus thing.
It's so weird, isn't it? How it really does feel like Assassin's Creed has grown out of control because it's had to become the big, giant thing that does everything.
Yeah, and this constant like holding itself down to this. I'm in the memories of my ancestor crap that I just don't care about. I mean,
clearly they stopped caring about it a long time ago. So
they still shoehorn it in. This the first Odyssey literally starts with these people who are in the modern times, and they're just walking around having a chat. And I'm like, don't give me this. I want to get into the start in the thing. Don't start me in the boring thing that I don't care about. And it's just
the fact that they reference the film annoys me.
Oh God.
I'm like, can we not Can we not just pretend that didn't happen? Why are you referencing that is a thing?
Yeah.
Stop.
I forgot there was a film.
Yeah, they should have as well.
That's weird, isn't it?
Anyway, I think we will see something.
Anyway, back on track.
Yeah, we'll see something.
Ooby Booby.
Yeah, I think we'll basically. I don't think we'll see anything new from Ubisoft. I think it'll be the standard. Here's our next sequel in a line of sequels.
We'll see. We have to see gameplay of Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I don't know.
Agree that we should. I don't know if we will.
Really?
Will you have one of those half gameplay, half pre-rendered kind of like trailer sections?
Well, they're still heavily in development with this whole, what is it, like the Space Monkey program or something, where everyone can get involved, and it feels like there's too many chefs going in.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. I feel like it's probably very much a next-gen thing. So...
Oh.
Don't know. I could maybe see a Mario Rabbids sequel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that game was pretty good and sold pretty well, I think.
I think we'll definitely see some form of Mario.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on to Nintendo then.
And that's where the thing cut out. Okay, so we lost audio from last night's recording. So now it's just Nicholas and me. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
We're back. We had some technical issues, so Jamie and Matt have been banished in case they were cursing the technology.
Mm-hmm.
But don't worry, we know everything they would have said.
Read their thoughts.
Yeah, so last night we lost our Nintendo part of the discussion. So we'll just run over that stuff briefly. So basically, I believe it was Jamie who kicked off. He was interested very much in Metroid Prime 4.
Mm-hmm. And I think we all agreed that that's... I think it's a kind of a definite we were going to see something. But then you mentioned that it has restarted in the last
it's an interesting situation there, because it's like they started development a fair while ago and then stopped and restarted. So I'm not sure if we'll see anything, because it could be one of those ones where they just go, like, now that it's had a kind of a refresh, maybe they just show it when they're ready. Like, maybe that's the big thing next year, and then it's out at the end of the year or something. I don't know. But or longer, it may be further away than that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about that is the fact that the project was restarted because apparently development wasn't going very well. They were split between multiple teams all over the world, so it was difficult. And Retro Studios, who was doing part of the game at the time, came at them with a pitch saying, hey, how about we do this? So here's like, they had their own fresh concept for it. So what makes that interesting to me in regards to E3 is just the idea that if they had a solid enough concept to sell Nintendo on, maybe they were able to get things going more quickly than they might have otherwise.
Yeah, it makes me think that they could well have at least got to the point of being able to work up a really good demo, a really good 5-minute, like, this is a piece of what we're aiming for.
Well, it's one of those things, like, it really depends what stage of development it's at, which we have no way of knowing. But because, like, it seems it could well be fairly far along its way. So I feel like either we will see absolutely nothing, and they'll just keep it to themselves until they're ready to show it off in full, with like full gameplay demos and everything, or we might see, I could see there being like early in-game footage, or because that's more Nintendo style than like a cinematic trailer thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's if they just want to be like, hey, look at this, like, this is the concept we're going for. This is what, like, this is the dream we want to sell you on for what we want this game to be. Which would be awesome. I'd love to see that.
But you're right. It could be the kind of thing that they're just waiting to get far enough along before, you know, they just schedule an entire Nintendo Direct and just devote the whole thing to it. That's also
or have that be, you know, what maybe next year's show is about, in the way that they did Breath of the Wild a couple of years ago. That will be interesting to see how that pans out. Transitioning on from there, Jamie's other major thing was he was saying he'd love to see more GameCube backwards compatibility for the Switch, which makes so much sense. It's really weird that they haven't. They've done. I mean, they've barely done Super Nintendo games. Like let alone N64 or GameCube games.
It's a bit. It seems to be another one of those weird, baffling Nintendo things that they don't seem to. At the time it didn't sell well, but they still seem to be holding on to the fact that means that people didn't like the GameCube. When since it has widely become the most, probably one of the most beloved of the older older consoles.
I mean, Jamie was saying, like, there's currently no way to play Smash Bros. Melee other than on the original GameCube. And on top of that, like, given what the situation with Metroid is, I feel like now would be a fantastic time to bring the Metroid Prime trilogy to the Switch as a separate thing, like, preferably as its own package, maybe slightly spruced up, rather than just as a GameCube port. But either way, like, those games would be amazing on Switch. And also, given that Luigi's Mansion is going to be out later in the year, presumably, it would be awesome to play the original of that.
I mean, I could see that as a really great, like, separate announcement, like the whole section, not new games, but prepping games. Essentially. Are you older
games?
Are you ready?
If you're looking forward to this,
exactly. Why not remember where they came from?
Because we were having this discussion. I don't know if it was on the video we put out last year, but Jamie and I were talking about the fact that Mario Sunshine isn't, like, looked back fondly as one of the. I mean, it is the least good of the 3D Mario games, but it's still good fun. And we were both saying we would love to mess around with that on Switch or whatever before Mario Odyssey came out. It just didn't happen.
Just not there. Yeah.
But that was I'll use that to lead into one of my predictions, which was that we will see a direct sequel to either Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart, or Zelda Breath of the Wild. Because I think I really expected to see more levels and kingdoms and things,
and more post-release and content for Odyssey.
Because it seems like it was such a natural fit. Like, you could have just gone, okay, now you can go to the, like, Yoshi Kingdom if you buy this extra content or whatever it is. And they just didn't do that. So that has led me to think that they must just be going full steam into a sequel. Like you said, much like Galaxy and Galaxy 2 and Galaxy, obviously that was back further back when, like, DLC wasn't of the scale
that it is now. But
I think it was at the time, it was one of those things, like, it would have been Nintendo's first outing in it.
Yeah.
So people were kind of speculating as to whether or not that might be something they'd consider.
Right.
But it probably didn't really make sense on the Wii. But yeah, because they said they had, after development, they had so many ideas.
And some of the other assets they maybe didn't get around to or cut or something.
Yeah, they had more than enough content for another game, and it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case with this one, because with something like a 3D Mario game, you must think there must be so much cut content, and so many ideas they've messed around with that maybe, they want to go, well, we can just give that a little bit more time and maybe it can, become something different. So that was my argument for potential Mario thing. With Zelda, it's been 2 years. How long has it been since the Switch came out? 3 years? Not sure. 2 years.
2, I think. Yeah.
Let's say 2.
Oh god, that's embarrassing.
that game was in development for a really long time.
Yeah.
And
they were building a whole new engine and a whole new way of making Zelda games.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me at all if by the time they got to the end of that cycle, that they had a bunch of ideas to play with, and it's not exactly the same. It's obviously a lot more hours and work that goes into games now than it did on the Nintendo 64. But they got Majora's Mask out in a year.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of asset reuse.
Sure,
quite shameless, but
they don't have to do that. But I'm not saying I would necessarily like any of these sequels I'm talking about. I wouldn't expect them this year. I'd expect them for next year. With Zelda, I'd probably say maybe an end of the year thing. But if it was Mario Kart or Mario Odyssey, I'd say maybe a summer game for next year. Especially like Mario Kart's got summer game written all over it. Because again, like that game came out not so long ago, but it was a port. It was a port from the Wii U game.
How can they have not been working on a new one, actual, straight up new one?
And I'd even if it's basically just the same as Mario Kart 8, but there are like however many new tracks. Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's money in the bank for Nintendo, so why wouldn't you?
The Mario Kart 8 sold crazy numbers, so why would they not? That was basically my thinking of that. I think all three of those are prime for a sequel. So now is as good a time as any.
And the fun thing is, it could well be that all three are in the works, and they only feel like they need to, having those announcements. That's like that you can have them backloaded. They could just put out one week in terms of just, we have Mario Odyssey 2 coming. Yeah. And a month from now, when they do another Nintendo Direct, they go, by the way, Breath of the Wild sequel. Like double down on some post EA waves of.
Why not?
Should be.
There are. Because especially with those games, like if somebody tells you that there is a sequel coming, you know what that is. Like you don't necessarily need to see footage or anything in the way that you would with most other announcements.
Yeah, well, exactly. Especially, for example, when Bethesda say, "We're doing Elder Scrolls 6," and everyone goes, "Really?" And they go, "Yeah, look at this painting."
Yeah.
Well, that's not a game, is it? That's just a map picture.
This is, it's definitely, something's been rendered, but this could be anything.
Yeah.
This could be like high quality footage of like a carpet, and I wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, for a proper macro lens.
Yeah. Yeah, but so that's pretty much where we got to, I think, with Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any other comments?
No, I just doubled down on Metroid when Jamie brought it up. I believe Matt was pretty certain that we will get some gameplay footage of Pokemon Sealed.
Yeah, that's the one.
Which is happening probably as we speak.
We might have seen it by the time this video goes up.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, I think he's right there.
Yeah, done, Matt. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thoughts about that, because
that was mostly it. I think. I mentioned. I did mention Animal Crossing briefly. Correct. In a previous discussion. Just because I'm really interested to see how ambitious they're being with this game.
It would be so refreshing to see that they actually did try something with it.
Yeah, because it feels like they've been making like small steps and little experiments with that game on the 3DS and on the phone game. So yeah, it could be really interesting if they really go for it. Like, yeah,
I remember you said like if they actually started to get into more detail with the like customization aspects, like the potential for actually the town building or actual infrastructure. And
or even if it's maybe not on that level of scale, because I don't know if that would be going too much close to like a SimCity kind of thing or whatever that Nintendo would be interested in doing with Animal Crossing. But it could be something as simple as, because they made the Happy Home Designer game on the 3DS,
right?
So why not go further with that? And like maybe that's your role in this town, is you are like
designer.
You're like a home decorator for everyone, or but I mean having building and stuff to do, like being a town planner or something, that could be awesome. That would be really great. It was genuinely, it would give you more reason if they're going to push the online stuff. Which I imagine they are. It would give you more reason to want to go and see other people's towns if it could be something that's just like visually totally unique.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on then from a Nintendo. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to move on to now, because those are all the main conferences out of the way.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Bethesda?
Oh, I did want to mention Bethesda. Yeah. Basically, in a kind of scathing, angry remark, because I don't know what, unless Bethesda's just going to lead with all of its other developer stuff. So like the id Software and Arcane Studios, if they've got anything, maybe we'll see Doom thingy, Eternal. Is that
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Yeah, and I mean, if that's what they're going to go with, because they can't try to dress up anything for Fallout 76 as something they're trying to sell to us at E3. They can't do that.
No.
So this is why my main point is I think they're lying about Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield. Or stuff. One or the other. I think we will...
About either of them being
shown. I think they're lying. Because...
I mean, they are definitely liars.
I don't remember if there's any particular instance of Bethesda just straight up lying, but it's very much a thing that these game companies
Todd Howard has definitely lied.
Right. They just go, oh yeah, we're not showing it, and then they just show it, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so happy I see it. There it is.
It's got a number after it that I haven't seen next to those words before.
Exactly. And that makes me happy, because numbers go big. And
they do go big, yeah.
And I like I like it when
it's great big when they do.
Yeah, it just makes me happier when the numbers go big.
Yeah.
But no, I just feel more inclined that we might actually see something of Starfield. Actually,
yeah, I can agree with that. So I think the reason I actually would be shocked to see anything from Elder Scrolls, and it's specifically because of all of the shit that they're like wading through with Fallout at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one they really know that they have to pull their socks up with. They can't have something coming out and showing that looks half baked.
If it looks anywhere like close to what Skyrim, like the new edition, looks like, then they're going to be eviscerated. It needs to be a light year ahead.
Yeah, it does, and it needs to look. It needs to look like it's more than just holding together.
Yeah,
technically, I think we might see. I could see maybe a pre-rendered thing for that, but I would be shocked to see gameplay because I think unless they're really confident in it, I don't think it would be a good idea for them to show anything.
No, I agree.
Whereas Starfield is. Sorry, carry on.
Well, I was going to say I'm almost inclined to say I would like. I say that they're lying. I don't know that we'll necessarily see gameplay of either at all, but. And I'm more, and like I said, I'm just more inclined to think that we might see something of Starfield, and it might just be a story cinematic trailer.
Sure.
Because
I can see that.
And frankly, even if they weren't falling apart as a company or just completely dropping the ball every time, after just giving us a title last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing about it since, basically. Nothing of note, nothing of import, like nothing of substance. It would be good. I think it's just good business practice, really, to just be like, here's something, here's what it might be about. Here's what here's what you can start looking forward to.
I think that is a really good point. Like my reason for thinking that Starfield is the more likely one to show is that even if it is quite far away, is because it's something totally new.
Yeah,
you don't like. It's harder. You can't directly compare it to other Skyrim or Fallout games.
There's less weight of expectation on your back in terms of is this going to stack up to the previous ones?
Yeah. So you get to have a little bit more of a clean slate there, and also you can do just a thing with that because it is totally new of going like, right, here is a totally pre-rendered video, and we're going to talk a bit about what we want that game to be because nobody knows anything. Mm-hmm. So I can totally see that.
And they're in that very actually quite nice time space with this one, with this particular game, where no one's actually going to be mad if they don't show gameplay right now.
Yeah.
Where in almost every other circumstance, we're just like, don't give us fucking cinematic trailers. They're so boring and it tells us nothing. Yeah. But right now, if they go, the gameplay isn't ready, we don't want to show it to you because we don't want you to be disappointed, then we'll all go, cool, good.
Yeah, but I think from their perspective, they're definitely going to want us to have something to, like, anything they can do to draw your attention away from Fallout right now.
Yeah,
they're going to be looking for opportunities. So yeah, I think I think Starfield's a good shout.
Yeah, and that's all I think I had. That's all my thoughts on Bethesda.
Cool. I'd love to see another Arcane game.
Me too.
But I don't. It hasn't been that long since Death of the Outsider came out. I don't think so. I'm not expecting anything.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And there the Prey DLC as well. They worked on a lot of DLC in the last couple of years.
Right.
That was it.
I wonder if maybe they're gearing up to something bigger for next gen or whatever at this point. Who knows?
Maybe. Dishonored 3. Okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. That'd be lovely to see. We'll see. All right, then, let's move on. I believe Jamie had another prediction.
The From Software George R. Martin combo.
Yeah.
Great Rune, is that what it's supposedly called?
Great Rune, yeah. That is the rumour, the pervasive rumour that's going around. It would be interesting. I'd be really curious to see what something with those two like quite different creative forces mixing together would be like.
Yeah. I'm strangely. I don't know. I don't quite know how I feel about this. And Jamie's pretty set on not really. Pretty certain that we won't really get any details. We won't really get any actual or info. Just kind of a confirmation.
Yeah, I believe he said like it because his reasoning for why we would get a confirmation seems pretty sound to me, which was like From Software riding off the high of Sekiro, followed by the Game of Thrones TV finale happening. So it would be a good time for him to come out and be like, hey, this is what my life is now. Stop asking me about the books.
Yeah. And then just generally Norse mythology seems to be pretty popular in pop culture at the moment. Yeah. And I get it.
That How to Train Your Dragon? That's a good one.
Yep, that is. Neil Gaiman wrote a good book about Norse mythology.
That's good too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see it. If it's real, I can see them confirming it. Maybe with a pre-rendered trailer, like remember the Bloodborne reveal?
Oh yeah, really short something or other.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking that I wonder if, because it's been flying under the radar now because Sekiro took all of the limelight this year. I wonder if we will get a Bloodborne 2 confirmation.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that. It'd be interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've had confirmation that they have multiple teams doing multiple projects.
We've got
and the rumor is that Bloodborne 2 is one of them.
Yeah. They're very into doing incredibly short trailers of games that when they're not really. Do you remember the Sekiro original trailer, which was
the teaser thing
getting pushed, like that? No one had any clue what the hell that was for months. Great Rune could be as much as an 8-second thing saying George R.R. Martin From Software, and then like an anvil.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, at least because they're stylistically different enough, you would hope that this time around, if they do that, we'll be able to tell whether or not it's Bloodborne or Great Rune or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like if they're going to announce Bloodborne 2 with a short little thing, it's going to be so recognizable with one particular, whatever image they choose. And that would be wise. You'd pick one image that everyone would look at it and poop their pants, because that's what Bloodborne makes you do. I mean, it does me. I'm not sure we'll see much of Great Rune because we literally just heard about it.
Yeah, I think if that's real, I wouldn't expect it to be out anytime soon.
Yeah.
It would just be a confirmation that it exists.
Yeah.
Speaking of confirmations, one thing I would like to see, and I think there's probably a decent chance of it, is what's the deal with Resident Evil? Because 2 just came out, very successful. Very good game. I really liked 7 as well. That was a good game, very different. I'm really curious to see where they go with it next, because I ideally would like to have both of those styles of games continue. Both in terms of maybe doing an RE3 remake in the style of the 2. 1. Oh God, there's only so. Names are bad.
Numbers go big.
So whether that is an RE3 remake or something that's fresh but in that same style, that would be really exciting to see. Or whether we get an RE8, say, that's continuing on directly from where 7 left off, because that I'd be curious to see where that goes now. I want to see something Resident Evil related, and I really don't mind what it is, because they've
either way is promising.
Either way, I'm happy, and they've more than proven recently that they'll come up with something worth playing.
I feel like the Resident Evil 3 one is interesting because they've kind of nullified Nemesis now by essentially doing him with the big man.
Mr. X. I mean, he doesn't officially have a name, I don't think. Tyrant?
No,
maybe he's the Tyrant. I don't know.
It's not gonna. Nemesis is not gonna have any of his impact, because.
Well, they'd have to fiddle around with him as well, wouldn't they?
Yeah. He's gonna have to work differently, and that could be significant.
Yeah. I think.
But
whatever they do next, I wouldn't expect. I think them doing. Putting out the remake of 2 and then announcing 3 as a follow-up in the same year, that doesn't seem wise to me, unless they have another new game that they were showing at the same time. So if we see anything, my money would be on something totally fresh, but it's just what style that's in. And I'm not certain we'll see it at all. I could really see them holding off, but I'd really like to. I think my money would probably be on a follow-up to 7. Because for one thing, it's been longer since that came out, but they obviously spent a long time working on that engine.
Totally.
And this run of consoles is kind of it feels like it's running its course,
winding down.
So why not have another one of those out there on those systems before they go away?
Totally.
That's what I'd probably put my money on.
Yeah, I could see maybe them trying that in the vein of the working like Resident Evil 7, and maybe them trying to open it a bit.
Yeah.
Because it was very self-contained, and it benefited from being very self-contained, and maybe they just throw that first-person kind of thing out into some streets with some zombies, maybe zombies.
Maybe zombies. I'll tell you what I really loved in particular about that game, and it's absolutely typified by the demo they put out, which was just the kind of intricate puzzle box element to that demo. It was so impressive. That demo is a game worth owning in itself, to my mind. And the final game didn't have as much of that stuff as I wanted it to, but it had some great puzzles and things.
Mhm.
Like it felt like it refreshed the puzzle systems in Resident Evil games, rather than it just being, oh, you've got a key that's got like a face of a duck on it. So find a door that looks like a duck. Yeah. Find a door that looks like a headless duck.
And give it its head back.
Yeah. I'd love to see them take that further. Like, what if it's like, there's less of a focus on zombies and survival stuff, and it's more like, okay, so this is the branch of the series where it's more about like you are trapped in a place that you're having to find your way out. Like, an escape the room sim.
Yeah.
That would be fun. We'll see.
With creeping threat as opposed to just numbers of zombies.
Yeah.
No, that sounds. I agree. That sounds nice.
We'll find out.
We will.
Any other developers or series you were wanting to chat about?
Yeah.
You wanted to mention Valve, didn't you?
I did, because fuck Valve.
Yeah. But also.
No. Yeah. I said in the previous discussion, this is a hill I will die on every year, because I plead for it every year, but I just, even if you have nothing, even if you have not even put pen to paper yet, just tell me that you want to. So and I said it last time, all you need to do is a black screen with some sound, like ambient industrial sound effects, and then you just hear Ellen McLean's voice saying, "It's been a long time."
Yeah.
And the number 3 comes up, and maybe some little turret work, like noises, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Except with Valve, you really have to have the word Portal come up before 3, because
I know.
There are so many ways in which people can lose their shit.
Yeah.
Over that.
Okay, so maybe.
But yeah, I would absolutely love that.
And if I saw that, I could wait another 5 years. You know, if you've done nothing, fine. All I want from you is that you want to make a game that we like anymore.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think if we saw a Left 4 Dead 3 as well, I'd love to play that. I'd really like to see that. Yeah. But also, that itself would just be a confirmation of, oh, you're making games again.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get a Portal.
Exactly. Yeah. You remember the things that everyone used to like.
Yeah. That
you made. Remember those?
Remember the times. Yeah, that would be great. I still think Portal 1 and 2 would be fantastic on Switch. But yeah.
But I like I said, I will die on these hills, because I say it every time, and I'm always disappointed. So
they're hills worth dying on, though.
Right. Yeah.
They're good games.
And it's Portal remains such a smart mechanic. Just the mechanic remains so interesting that even with the sequel and the co-op, which like expanding again, it still feels like they're kind of just scratching the surface about what they get to do with it. Like, I remember way back before the second one came out, and you and I were spitballing ideas of like what you could do with it, and saying, well, what if you just brought across the gravity gun from the Half-Life series and it somehow became a companion to it?
Yeah.
The gravity gun mixed with the portal gun. That's another co-op mode, you know? Gravity gun, one person has the portal gun. Or maybe you have to swap at some point in the middle of... you have to send the gravity gun through a portal to the other partner.
Yeah. I think the thing that's the saddest about the fact that we haven't seen anything for so long is the fact that it's such a unique game system.
Yeah.
No one else can do anything like it for legal reasons, apart from anything else. But you think there must be so many people out there, people who love to make physics-based puzzle games, procedural games and stuff, that would love to have a crack at it.
Yeah, who blatantly have so many ideas, so many smart, spatial, like, interesting designs that waiting for it.
Well, we can dream on.
The only other thing I had a thought on is that I know is going to be there, and I'm just really interested in seeing, is Dying Light 2.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, because that the first game, I keep like re-downloading it onto my PlayStation and playing it a bit, and then remembering why it still kind of pushes me away a bit, certain gameplay things. Mm-hmm. Really like it, and I really want to love it and love to play it, but it doesn't quite get there. It
is like, it's one of those games though that it feels like it should have it should be a game that we could look at and say, this is doing nothing original and nothing special, because it feels like a lot of the things they're doing should have been ripped off. Like there's it's so weird to me that the kind of movement stuff from Mirror's Edge has not been implemented in any other like action games. It's so strange.
Titanfall, there's a lot of wall running in Titanfall, and basically any Respawn game they always put running in. But the whole forward momentum, going over obstacles and stuff. Why did we all for some reason think that wasn't a good way to move in first person games? It feels good.
Yeah, I guess it's just the thing of like people going, we want to make developers, we want you to make us a shooting game, and we don't want any of that other nonsense.
Give us good shoot bangs,
but
nothing else.
But Dying Light was like a really solid like framework of a game. Those guys clearly know what they're doing. I'd love to see how they've taken that further. Yeah, because it's been quite a while, hasn't it, since the last one came out?
Yeah.
4 years, maybe.
I think it might have even been a early this generation game.
That sounds about right. Not a launch one, but maybe
not
the summer after or something like that.
Yeah. Because I remember it coming out and everyone kind of going, "Oh yeah, this is by the guys who made Dead Island," and I was like, and then because Dead Island was weird and totally just totally threw me, because
Dead Island 2 apparently still in development, by the way.
No, I don't. Again, they dropped another weird trailer. This one at least looks more tonally in line with what Dead Island ended up being. But that was ages ago. That was before Dying Light, surely. I don't even.
Yeah, it must have been.
That's crazy.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right. Let's maybe wrap this up. Are there any other final things you would, even if it's just I'd love to see something from this studio, or a wild card thing. Like, I'd love a sequel to this.
Well, it's probably never going to happen because I guess EA probably still holds on to it. But I'd love to see someone still try to resurrect Dead Space.
That'd be great.
Because I miss it. You know, it was.
EA could really do with some
goodwill.
Some goodwill. So why not?
Yeah.
And that's a good one.
And something I want to see something from the people behind Journey, that game company they're called.
Oh yes, they
had something which was like
teased something. They showed a piece of art like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and it was for some kind of like Air or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And it was I think an iPad game. Which is really disappointing. Because I want them to have the resources and scope to really kind of tackle I don't need it to be a huge, sprawling, massive adventure, but I'd like to play something which maybe gave me 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. What shall I say? How about... I was going to say Viva Pinata. I still think it's too soon, to be honest. I don't know.
Soon?
Yeah.
I'd like a Viva Pinata with a kind of a redesigned concept of how that little garden works.
Uh-huh.
Weird how they had like a space limit. That was bizarre to me.
Yeah.
I just want to be
How about
design
a Viva Pinata thing, but it's like a village. It's like a bit bigger.
Like a Stardew Valley kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a proper zoo you're building rather than just a small garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, please. All right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
Like and subscribe. See you tomorrow. I love you. Goodbye.
Well done.